Sever the bond from Nets Republic. We've reached the end times, y'all. We've reached that point where it's like, I want to be cliche and call it a fork in the road, but it's so much more than that. We have reached that point. And to give an example of what that point is, if anyone remembers the Guitar Hero series or the Rock Band series, there was a point where you would play songs like, what's the name of that one song? That song by Dragon Force or whatever, Into the Fire and the Flames. And you would play a little rhythm game thing with your plastic guitar, and you would push the buttons according to whatever the on-screen prompt told you. Where I'm going with this is there was a point in the song In the Fire and the Flames where it was such an insane solo that it's just like you had to have like SpongeBob, like Luffy from One Piece fingers to be able to keep up with the shenanigans. And they dubbed it the point of no return. Well, ladies and gentlemen and everyone else, let me tell you something. We have reached the point of no return. We can't go back. We can't go forward. We're in this purgatory, if you will. We're pretty much on our Dawn FM, where we are just in purgatory, and we have to make the decision. What are we going to do here? Now, I'm going to say some things in this video that I have said a million times over the course of this season, be it here on Nets Republic or other various places where you may have seen my content. Nothing I'm saying is new, but it hits differently tonight of all nights. Now, if you don't know, there was some drama going into the game tonight. The reports of James Harden wanting out and trying to go to Philly became legitimate speculation. It became a legitimate rumor and a report because Shams tweeted it out. And when that particular blue check starts with the gossipy gossip, it's real. That man Shams or however you say his name said that the Sixers are looking to make a push for James Harden before the trade deadline, which would be, I believe, next week. And the Nets are listening. I'll say that again. Philly is trying to get James Harden right now, and the Nets are listening. To make it even sweeter, James Harden didn't play tonight. Now, the last game where he went out there and scored 4 points, if you remember, this man looked fine to me. But he didn't play tonight. As a matter of fact, he wasn't even on the bench. And we all know Harden and his leather best is going to be out there, looking like a background singer for a Missy Elliott music video. He gonna be there because he's the leader of the team. He's a cheerleader. Him and Joe Harris are always there, and I will give those two credit for that. Regardless if they're hurt or we're down by 20 or whatever the case is, they are always out there courtside, on the bench, cheering on the team. Harden was nowhere to be found. It was just Joey. And there's Joe Harris news as well, but it's just like there's so many other things going on. We can't even address the Joe Harris stuff, but that's not here or there. Look that up. We don't have time for that right now, but look up the Joe Harris stuff. Jesus Christ. Anyway, Harden's nowhere to be found. There are some people that allegedly say he was seen pregame somewhere. Wasn't there when the game started. It's comical what we're going through. It's legendary what we're going through, and it is going to be historic what we are going through. Now, we've kind of unboxed this elephant in the room of Kyrie and Harden and how there's tension between the two and how James Harden is clearly frustrated and might be getting to the point where he might want to get out. Now, the issue with all this is the performance he's coming off of. Now, when we first heard these rumors, that man scored like 14 points in a game and we lost. We're talking about a week later, coming off a performance where he scores 4 points. Let me give you a comparison because people like to play the numbers game. I'm not really big on that, but let's play the statistic games for you analytical individuals out there. Tonight, Mr. I forgot his name, Donovan Mitchell. Mr. Donovan Mitchell, fresh off of an injury, went out there and scored 27 points on 10 shot attempts. He was 8 for 10 and ended up with 27 points. I believe only 2 or so foul shots. And the man ended with 27 on 10 shot attempts, shooting 80%. James Harden last game scored 4 points, going 2 of 10. Now you tell me who's the better star. You tell me who. So it starts to beg the question, is James Harden pushing his way or forcing his way out of Brooklyn to get to Philly the way he did with the Rockets? Because how can we put that past him? I'll go to the relationship example again. It's like, if you start dating someone who has a wild past and then they start doing that wild stuff with you, how can you be surprised? How can we be surprised that there is a large possibility that James Harden literally pulled a Rondo and threw a game in order to get himself kicked out of Brooklyn? Wouldn't put it past him. Wouldn't put it past him. And the idea that we might be left with Ben Simmons is just another story for another day, but that's not here there. Because again, going to the, zooming out of the current situation, how do we go into the year with Kyrie not even being eligible to play, and it's Harden that gets traded for Ben Simmons? It's not making sense to me, but that's not here there. Focusing on tonight and the current situations that we have right now. So allegedly, Harden purposefully threw a game to try and get everyone's attention, to try and make his way to Philly. If that's true, that's disgusting. But then again, on the same hand, and we've already had this conversation, he's got many, many, many reasons to be frustrated with the organization. Tonight, we saw another example of the Nets just phoning it in this offseason. We got to see up close and personal that Mr. Hassan Whiteside is still that guy. And the Miami commentators weren't just hyping Buddy up. He's still that guy. And that is another free agent that we just said, we really need him. Why? We got an up-close look the other night, and we got another close look tonight. First, it's JaVale McGee. Now it's Whiteside. I'm sure, we don't get to play the Lakers again. Well, we saw with Dwight Howard too, but that's not here there. And who would have thought that in 2021, 2022, Dwight Howard would be someone you would want on your team? He had a weird character player arc, but that's not here there. Anyway, they were absolutely slaughtered tonight. All that was out there was Kyrie Irving as far as the big three goes. You still don't have LaMarcus Aldridge. I refuse to believe that is that important, because what all of you have been telling me is that Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge and all them, that's not really that important. So I refuse to believe that LaMarcus Aldridge not being there is the collapsing point. We still had Day'Ron Sharpe. According to y'all, that's enough. Claxton gets hurt, which is... I feel like I've said that so many times on camera over the last 2 years. Of course Claxton's hurt again, but that's not even there. So Claxton's hurt, so that happened. And that is so complicated. And again, there are just so many different tangents we can go on here with this team, but we got to focus on the hard stuff tonight because we could be here for an hour, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's really not that serious tonight. I'm going to keep it a being with you. But of course, Claxton's hurt, so, he's down. So that just left us with Blake Griffin and Day'Ron Sharpe. Day'Ron Sharpe was originally not even out there, and Steve Nash had to put him out there because Claxton went down, which, again, who is shocked that Claxton has hurt again, but that's not here or there. We still got wrecked. And please keep in mind, they don't have Joe Ingles. Please keep in mind, they don't have Rudy Gobert. But we still got annihilated. And a good bit of the second half, we were just getting slapped around by their bench warmers. Like, if we want to keep it all the way a Thowie, we were getting smacked around by their bench warmers. And you could tell as soon as Kyrie was not really looking like he was in the zone, Kyrie had like 15 points or something like that, shot really poorly. But, I mean, Kyrie's allowed to be human, I guess. I'm not going to get on him like that. I mean, I've already made it very clear how I feel about him, that, like, just Kyrie is not enough. It doesn't equate to wins, especially if the shot's not going in. But I'm not really going to take the time to poop on Kyrie, because we've already done that, and y'all know how I feel about that man. But obviously, if he's not hitting his shot, we legitimately don't have a chance. But it was just interesting. As soon as... And it became clear very quickly. Once they got the ball out of James Johnson's hands, which I don't know what he was on. I have this funny scenario in my mind where the team was huddled up in the tunnel and they all looked at Javon and said, all right, Javon, be aggressive. We're going to run it through you. Like, that is hilarious to me, but that is neither here nor there. So once they got the ball out of James Johnson, my bad. Javon Carter played terrible too. But once they got the ball out of James Johnson's hands, James Johnson started the game 1 for 10 before they benched him. And this is just in the first quarter. Jesus Christ, but that's not here there. So once they tried this James Johnson Carmelo strategy thing that I've never seen before, and I didn't see that coming, but shout out to Steve Nash for thinking of something different, I guess. Just take the whole ISO KD principle and put it on James Johnson. Anyway, it was just really obvious that Kyrie wasn't on point tonight. And just watching Steve Nash scramble, putting Javon Carter, and I actually mean Javon Carter this time, putting Javon Carter in the game, like real quick, letting Cam Thomas go to Karis LeVert offensive land. And a shout out to Karis LeVert, by the way. I think man's had 43 tonight. And shout out Jared Allen. I think the man was like 29 and like 22, as in 29 points and 22 rebounds. Again, just walking embodiments of what we gave up for Harden, but that is neither here nor there. It was horrible. At one point, the score was like 72 to like 109. We was just getting slapped around. Oh, what a sight. What a sight. I don't know what y'all want me to say. Obviously, it is the same principles apply. You don't have James Harden out there, whether he is aggressive offensively or not. You don't have a coach. There's no one to run the team. Steve Nash is doing nothing. And he tried to give us the little pump fake out to pretend like he was coaching by calling a timeout like real quick in the game. That was about the last one we saw for the rest of the game, keeping it all the way that way. And it's not like it's just like a matter of him calling timeouts. There's several things. It's just this video could be 8 hours long if I went up and down all the things wrong with the team right now. The team is imploding. And whether you want to throw all that on Harden, whether you want to throw it on Kyrie, whether you're in that small minority that's blaming KD for being injury prone, which I don't know if that narrative fits this year. He seemed pretty healthy up until now. And Bruce Brown literally flung into him. So it's not like he's made a glass this season or anything like that. If you want to put it on Claxton always being hurt, if you want to put it on the fact that we didn't get a real center, if you want to put it on the fact that we're not drawing plays and we have individuals that can do more that aren't getting the opportunity, there's a million places you can go. And I'll be honest, none of them are wrong. The team is a disaster and a proper dumpster fire. And I'll be honest with you, it literally can't get worse. I don't think it's possible. Nothing against the players, but in the interest of being fans of the team, I think a 7-game losing streak, I mean, the only way that gets worse is if the number gets higher, but it doesn't get worse than this. It really doesn't. And you know what? As much as I am frustrated by this whole ordeal, I'm here for some crazy trade because something's got to change quickly, quick, fast, and in a hurry. It's got to be right now. Because I'm going to keep it a being. We keep losing like this, we're going to be in the play-in tournament. And I keep saying that, but each video it becomes more and more of a reality. We are so snuggly in 6th place. We got to boot 2 more L's before we're going back and forth with the Hawks for who's in 8th. If you're asking upon me, Sever the Bond, have you hit the I've been hit the panic button. But let me know your thoughts. What did you think of tonight's disaster class? Let me know. Do you think the Nets are going to do anything at all? Do you think they're going to continue to just stand pat and say, well, this is going to work eventually? Let me know. Let me know, because I just want something to happen. Honestly, you start with getting Steve Nash out of there. That's a good place to start. We don't really lose anything. Just get Steve out of there. And I'm down for Jacques Vaughn getting interim part 2. Really, I am. We just got to get Steve Nash out of there. You solve the coaching issue, and I guarantee you the environment is at least a little less toxic and a little less hopeless. Maybe Harden stays, which I don't know how you do after all this stuff that's been going on. And I mean, like, if there was ever a night for him to get on camera and say, hey, these rumors aren't true, you're gonna blah, blah. And yeah, he already said that, but it's like, especially tonight, if I'm Harden, I'm getting on camera and saying it and confirming that none of this is true. But the fact that he's not even there is really, really concerning. And hopefully I'm wrong. And by the time I've posted this, he's already said something. But it's not looking good, y'all. It's really not looking good. It's really not looking good. And I think we play the Nuggets next. I think so. So that's L number 8 in a row, whether Harden's out there or not. So I guess I'll see you on the next episode of the Nets Lost by 70. Yeah.